How could a 17-year-old lose $40,000 yet have that much to start? In the last video, I showed you how I work with the world's biggest creators and earned $30,000. This is the story of how I lost it all and then some. Let me explain. It's now April 2019. I had just left my job with Preston and I had $30,000 to my name. So what did I do? I did what any 17-year-old would do and buy an elaborate gaming setup full of the best tech money could buy. And while it did provide value while I was working, I did not fully comprehend the full impact of what I had done. Next, I needed a game plan. How was I going to make my way into the real world without the previous opportunity? I came up with a brilliant idea.
Dropshipping.
Shopify dropshipping.
Dropshipping. What is dropshipping, you may ask? It's the business model where goods move from the manufacturer straight to the customer without going through the distribution channels. Here's how it works. Step 1, customer places order from your store. Step 2, store orders from the manufacturer. Step 3, manufacturer fills and ships order to the customer. So your store acts as a middleman. You never touch any inventory and it runs from anywhere. Sounds great, right? I could already hear the Shopify sound racing through my head. In fact, I was marketed with dropshipping ads left and right on social media for the past year.
Look, $5 a day Facebook ads will get you this. But
promising to get rich quick with $5 Facebook ads. It seemed like the holy grail, and I was willing to give it a try. Plus, it seemed like everyone was making money with it. There was only one problem. I needed a business. And at 17 years old, it's a bit tricky to get one. I needed a business address to open a limited liability corporation. I knew it must be a place where I can collect or send out shipments if necessary. Where better to go than the post office? And it just so happened to be April 15th, the last day to file taxes in the United States. As you can imagine, the line was out the door. So I waited and waited and waited for what felt like an eternity. And in the remaining few minutes of the day, I reached the front of the line and asked the postal worker to open a PO box. But he refused immediately. Why? Because I was underage. I was deemed not eligible to open a PO box. Things were not going as planned. Yet I asked him to show me specifically, it shows I am not eligible. To his surprise, he was not able to do so and needed the postmaster to sign off on it. But he was out sick. No 17-year-old had ever asked to open a PO box before, and his confidence was sinking. So with only a few minutes to spare and a growing line behind me, I got the signature I needed and was open for business. Now, with any business, you need a solid business plan. Here was mine. I was going to follow all the dropshipping gurus and apply their teachings to launch my own store. My budget, $5,000. Not a penny more. I saw people selling anything from car phone holders to fidget spinners to inflatable Halloween costumes. I needed to find a winning product that people would think, wow, and buy immediately. So I searched through product after product after product until I found a guru selling something that caught my eye. It was a portable blender you could take anywhere to blend smoothies with. I saw the traction his store got and decided to test something on my own. So I opened my first Shopify store. I set up the necessary apps, themes, and settings. Then I went to work creating advertisements by gathering footage of the product from Chinese manufacturers or ordering it on Amazon to film it myself. My plan was simple. I would run ads of my product on Facebook and Instagram to funnel traffic directly to my site for people to buy. All that remained was to switch it on. But I was scared. Up to this point, I had maybe spent a few dollars on a website, domain, and some startup costs. To be honest, everything sounded good on paper, but I had no clue if this was gonna work in reality. Regardless, I took a leap of faith and turned on the ads. That night, I went to bed stressed, knowing only for certain that I would be spending dollars on marketing. But what happened the next morning changed my life. I got my first sale. For the first time, my belief had been shattered. It now seemed possible to replicate again and again and again. Could this turn into a legitimate business? Over the next few days, I continued to get sales from around the world. Once the store got sales, I would then fulfill them through the Chinese marketplace, AliExpress. I spent the next few months learning everything there is to know about Facebook ads and Shopify, like custom audiences, lookalike audiences, email marketing, upsells, downsells, cross-sells, conversion rate optimization, social proof, user-generated content. I started to get a feel for cash flow. Money would hit my account on Tuesday of each week. Payments were processed through Stripe or PayPal and left via my bank account. All I could use to pay for ads was a single debit card. Things were very shaky. And although I had generated thousands more in sales, overall, I was breaking even or losing money slowly. So after testing different ads and landing pages, I came to the conclusion that it must be the product that was no longer working. How did I fix this? I tried selling the store, thinking if I can't do it, maybe someone else can. Unfortunately, the quality of buyers and sellers for stores worth a few $1,000s is very low. I ended up shutting the store down. Then I started another after another in hopes that one product was certain to hit. I sold products from AirPods cases to beauty cases, car armrests, to pickle jar openers, to infrared heating jackets, to shovels, and more. I spent thousands on courses and mentors and communities. At this point, I was still in high school. I checked my phone every waking minute to monitor the results of my ad spend, to a point where some teachers may have been suspicious of me in class, when in reality, I was launching Facebook ads every other day. It was not a healthy situation. But because I structured my schedule well, in December 2019, I graduated high school early. I had 6 months to make this work. So as time went on, I realized things were not as scalable as they were. Facebook was cracking down on dropshippers by sending out surveys to past customers. People hated waiting weeks, sometimes months, to receive their order, and I had lost nearly all the money I had earned before. That's when the impossible happened.
Coronavirus, flattening the curve. Stay at home.
COVID hit. And it hit hard. Shipping ports closed, states shut down, the world was in a constant state of panic. For the first few weeks, people stopped spending at all. They were in a state of constant unknown. And then it flipped. Because most of retail had shut down, people needed to get their toilet paper from somewhere. Where best to turn to than the internet? E-commerce took off on a scale comparable to Black Friday. Every single day. It was an e-commerce revolution. People made millions off of selling hand sanitizer and masks before being banned off of Facebook. I knew I needed to give it one last hurrah. But there was an issue. I was out of funds. So what did I do? What could I do? I had to take a different approach this time, not to repeat the same thing again. So when I came across a certain e-commerce mastermind, I was shocked. They approached e-commerce in a more professional way I had never heard of, using real-time data to measure success. I had to get in. But how could I, with nothing left in the bank? I had an idea, but it was risky, really risky. Due to the coronavirus and manually shutting down the economy, the US government was giving out payment protection plans via the Small Business Administration. These loans were the best of their kind, with little to no interest, and many took advantage of them, sometimes a little too far. Each business could only receive so much based on their status. It was worth a shot, so I applied. Weeks went by, nothing. I was still losing money, slowly but surely. And then it hit. I'd been approved for $11,500 from Uncle Sam himself. I could now afford the $6,000 annual mastermind, but boy was I playing with fire. I asked myself, what do I have to lose? Less than nothing it seemed. So I held my breath and joined the mastermind. Immediately, I got access to an exclusive, super optimized Shopify theme, weekly calls with e-commerce experts, and a community of entrepreneurs on a similar journey, some pulling 8 figures a month. This sped up my e-commerce journey by miles and changed my entire perspective on the business. So with everything improved, I relaunched my newly optimized store, selling knockoff watches, expecting to see improvement, but no dice. In my total time, I generated over $60,000 in sales, but overall had lost $40,000 of it. I finally came to the fact that while dropshipping sounds good on paper, dropshipping from China is not a sustainable business model. And with $1,500 left in the bank, plus $10,000 of debt, I felt the earth crumbling before my feet. My back was against the wall. And that's the exact moment it clicked. Click here to watch part 3.
I'm gonna show you for free live. Swipe up.